Hey guys, what's going on? Mike the Caveman Kuhn here again from Paleo Problem Island, MikeTheCaveman.com. And today's question is it expensive to eat healthy? Now, to address that, there are two main things we need to cover. The first of which is, please define expensive. Okay. The second thing is, where are your priorities? So, regarding the priorities, everyone wants to have the newest phone, everyone wants to have the newest car, and I have no problem spending the money on that. Yet, what's more important long term, having your health and vitality at an older age? Or more tangibly, wouldn't you rather just not be like crap all the time? Just saying. What it often comes down to, though, is a misunderstanding of the actual cost of things. Government subsidies on grains, which are then eaten or then fed to animals, creates an artificial price drop that we don't understand how much it actually does cost to produce those animals and the vegetables and fruits. Growing things is expensive. You don't question the cost of the newest iPhone or the newest car, yet a couple extra dollars more on your beef and everybody loses their minds. But another major problem is that with processed and prepackaged goods, you're often just paying more for the packaging. By avoiding these items, you'll find more money in the budget to be able to afford real food, quality food. For less than a couple of quarter-pounder meals at McDonald's, I can go and get 2 pounds of grass-fed ground beef, add to that about 4 pounds of organic vegetables, and top that with some grass-fed butter and a whole bunch of spices, and still be able to feed a full family for a couple of meals on a lot less than it would cost for one meal at McDonald's. There's a disconnect. It doesn't make sense. Even if you bought a meal at McDonald's for one person, say you bought an extra large meal, and it came with the fries and the drink, and you paid, I don't know, $10, let's say. Well, you get a pound of grass-fed ground beef for $5 at ShopRite. You can get some vegetables. You can get, let's say, a pound of vegetables for $2 to $3, depending on what you got. So now you have $7, $8. You get the thing of butter, but you're not going to use the whole thing, so maybe 50 cents to $1 on butter. So now about $9, you use a pound of beef, a pound of vegetables, and you had the butter on top. So it was tasting delicious. Yet, for that same price at McDonald's, you'd get a quarter pounder, which is pre-cooking weight, and what? A little piece of tomato and onion on the bread? Come on. It's mind-blowing. Okay, but let's go back to the cost of conventionally raised beef versus grass-fed beef, right? So it's a couple of dollars difference here and there. But by voting with your dollars for that grass-fed beef, you're voting for that sustainable practice. And maybe we can get rid of those government subsidies. I've talked a couple of times now about the importance of supporting sustainable agriculture. It's ridiculously important, not just for the environment, but for your health as well. So we need to make those changes. In terms of tips that you can take home right now and how you can save some money, skip the middle aisles, all right? Just don't eat those. Go around the perimeter. That's where you'll find your vegetables and fruits. You'll find your meats. You'll find your dairies. Focus on those that were grown properly. The grass-fed, organic, pasture-raised, in terms of the fish, wild-caught. Look for those. When they're on sale, buy them in bulk. Have a freezer ready to do that. Don't always go looking for the most expensive cut of steak. You don't have to eat filet mignons all the time. Honestly, I don't eat them very often. I usually get the cheapest cut of steak. I get ground beef, or I'll get stew meats. Those are amazing, okay? Those tough cuts of meat, they are cheaper, yet more often than not, the cheaper cuts of meat, if we're talking, grass-fed, but the cheaper cuts themselves are healthier for you. The organ meats, liver is by far one of the healthiest things, if not the healthiest thing that humans can eat. So you can get some grass-fed beef liver for relatively cheap, for pretty much nothing, and you'll get an immense amount of nutrition in it. Now, if organ meats aren't for you, well, that bone broth we always talk about. How much does it cost to get those bones? Or, let's say you went and spent the extra money on that organic pasture-raised rotisserie chicken. Well, you have a whole carcass now that you can throw in a slow cooker, and now you have soup for a couple of days. So that's a couple more meals. You can add some meat to that, add some vegetables back to that. It's really not as expensive as you think it would be. The key is pay attention to sales, get to farmers markets, particularly at closing time, because now they have products they need to get rid of. They're not going to bring it back again tomorrow or to the next place. So they don't want to carry it all back home. You can get better deals at farmers markets towards the end of the day. Or get to know the farmer. Go visit his farm. More often than not, they'd be happy to give you deals because you took the time to get to know them. You built a relationship with them. That's what life is, building relationships, right? So get to know your farmer. That's really important. Now here again on Long Island, it's tough, and you have family and stuff, but you know what? Make a day trip out of it. On a day you have off, take the family out east. Go to one of the farms, meet them, and get to know them. The kids can get to see the animals, and they can get to pick the fruits and vegetables themselves. A lot of people do that in the fall, pumpkin picking, and they go apple picking, and all that fun stuff. Well, why don't you do that more often? Don't say that's more expensive if you're not doing the steps you need to get there. So focus on the cheap cuts. They're most likely more nutritious. Get to know your farmers. And in terms of prioritizing actual foods, focus first on quality fats. That we talk about, animals, just like us, store their toxins in their fats. So you want to make sure the fats you're eating, in the case of animals, don't have extra toxins in them. And in the case of like vegetable oils, well, they're going to go rancid. So we don't eat those omega-6 oils, those vegetable oils. So make sure you're getting quality coconut oil, olive oil, butter, ghee, all that stuff. Get real versions. That's number one. Prioritize that. Spend the extra on that. So that if you can't afford grass-fed beef, you can get conventional beef and then add a quality fat back to that. Now again, that does get into the area of not supporting sustainability, but if you're really on that type of budget, you can afford $3 grass-fed butter and add that to the cheap meat. Okay, I promise you, you'll be able to make that work. It'll last a lot longer. The next one though is your protein sources. Your beefs, your chickens, your porks. Make sure you're choosing the best you can. When it comes to animals, there's a reason why more often than not I'm eating beef and lamb than I am chicken and even somewhat pork, because it's a lot easier to come by quality beef here in New York. It's just more available here. So in terms of the animals, go with the highest quality animal you can find and prioritize that. Buy it in bulk when it's on sale. Next up, then you focus on your carbohydrates, your vegetables, your fruits, your tubers. You get the highest quality you can on those. If they have a thicker peel, like say bananas or like avocados, all right, you can probably do a little better and save yourself some money on the conventional grown there. But if you find it in the budget, obviously go with the organic if you can. If not, get the conventional on the thicker skinned ones. If you're eating the whole fruit, like say a strawberry or a blueberry, then yeah, you're gonna wanna go organic. So focus on the things you're eating whole for organic and the things that have a thicker peel for conventional if you have to. So hopefully this helped you out a little bit, explain why and how you can eat real food, yet not completely break your budget. Either way, you know what to do. Like and subscribe down below, share it with your friends, head over to Facebook over at Paleo Problem Island, over on Instagram and Twitter at Mike the Caveman, of course over on MikeTheCaveman.com. That being said, guys, enjoy this beautiful day. Go meet a farmer. I'll see you tomorrow.